Welcome to the Lighting Talk. My name is Ove Lindström. I'm a consultant out of one agency here in Stockholm, and I'm also a keen motorcyclist. Long-time Java developer, and I got asked if I could actually boil down my 2-hour workshop to 15 minutes. So let's speed up. This is me, or, well, not me. It's the picture I took for one of my access card. This is also me, a little bit more protected and a little bit more lean. Oh, that fell flat. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm doing on the other picture, a little bit about my summer. I'm a member of the Swedish Motorcycle Association, SMC. We are about 75,000 more members. We have about 21, or exactly 21 local districts. And we are about 400 local motorcycle clubs. And no, Hells Angels is not one of them. And we do a lot of things with politicians and stuff, but I'm going to talk about SMC School, because that's the major part I do. We produce about 15,000 educational days per year. So we are quite large educators. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the challenges we have when we take a motorcyclist through an educational day. So do you remember this slide? I hope so. It was like 30 seconds ago. You might be quite surprised that I'm actually doing the same sort of thing in both situations. So that's what I'm going to talk about now for the next 12 minutes. The challenge I have is that, well, in my daily base, is that, well, if I commit something to the GitLab, I may break the build. And yeah, it's a calculated risk. If I'm really unlucky and I don't have a nice QA department, it might even go to production. And that's okay if they find a bug, as long as nobody dies. On the track, it might be a little bit difficult to debug things. And a consequence of a bug maybe a little more physical that we are used to in the software industry. We might break a little bit more than the build. However, the things we do, both when I do software development and when I'm riding my motorcycle, is sort of the same thing to handle the situation. So let's look at the challenges I have as an instructor. First challenge I have is I don't know who I'm going to meet in the morning. I have unknown stakeholders. I don't know where they come from, and I don't know where they're going to go. I have multiple other groups on the same track doing the same thing at the same time, basically writing code in the same class at the same time. And I have a team that just keep an eye on us. Does this feel like a project you want to be part of? Or are a part of, maybe? And we have a lot of things around us that we want to do. So how do we actually manage this? Well, the same way as we do in our daily business as developers. We use Lean and Agile all across. One thing that we have strived to do on our courses is to get the variations down. So we have a way of education, we have a way of teaching the coaches and all these things. And we do constant iteration, fast, small iterations, do one change at a time. So let me take you a little bit about what happens during a day. The first thing that happens when the participants come is that we look into their motorcycles, making sure that it's okay. And we also have a driver's meeting where we outline where we're going to go for a day, what we're going to do, exactly where we go to the toilet, how we go on the track, off the track, flags, everything. We set the rules of the day. And then, me as a coach, I grab my group. And then I do the same thing again, basically. I repeat everything we just have said. And regardless of which educational step they're going to do or speed groups, I'm going to come back to that a little later, we also decide on our behavior. How is this group going to behave? Where do we pass? Where do we meet? Everything. And then we split up. So this is sort of our sprint 0. And we do this every day, regardless of if we have done this the day before. And what happened then is that I become the coach, the Scrum Master, architect, instructor, Agile coach. You may call it whatever you want. But I do 2 things at this point. First, I make sure that everyone knows everyone. So that I present it to each other. I take care of what expectations they have, make sure that they have an expectation and have a goal for the day. We also said how we should iterate over the day. When are we going on the track? When are we going for lunch? When are we going for fika? Because fika is really important. And when we know that, then that's where we start. So then I have the participants sort of boil down their stories. What are they going to do today? So, themselves. Sometimes I even have them estimate them in T-shirt stories, but that's a completely different talk. But we create sort of a backlog for ourselves. And then the fun starts. I use the Toyota Improvement and Toyota Coaching Kata basically in everything we do. Because teaching yourself how to drive a motorcycle, well, actually I'm trying to teach others to drive a motorcycle, but I'm failing miserably at it. The only thing I can do is make sure that they know where they are and where they want to go, and that is sort of the whole Toyota Kata. So we create an experiment, and then we go out to the track and we do that experiment. And normally we can do 7, 8, 9 of these experiments each day. So it's like a sprint. So how many of you have 80-minute sprints? None. Well, 80-minute sprints, that's my normal day. This is me conducting an experiment. How far along can you see it? Can you see it? Do you notice the camera there? Yeah, we do a lot of monitoring. Actually. And if any parameters is out of scope, someone is too loud or too vertical, that is another way of saying that they've crashed, then we take care of it. This is us doing pair programming. And I got asked one time, do we do mob programming? No. One thing that people ask again and again is how do you actually establish a safe improvement environment? Well, nobody has asked, but that's sort of what we do. I have something like 20 slides in this deck now. That's talking about happen on the track, about survival reactions and lots of other stuff. And but the base is that we try to never exceed what we call the 80% limit, 80% mark. If you try to load someone more than the 80% mark, then things start to happen really quickly. And on motorcycles, that happens really quickly and it hurts. So that when you start saying holy shit in your helmet and then you get scared, and if you get scared, then you make mistakes. It's the same when we do software development. If we get scared, if we get stressed, then we start making mistakes. So we keep that slack all the time. Because basically, when you're driving a motorcycle, you need to have the full attention all the time. And if you're going to learn something, then you need to have even more attention on what you're doing. And at least also you have to have time to reflect on what you're doing. So we keep the 80% mark. Looks like that. That is Moore's circle, but I'm not going to talk about that one. I mentioned speed groups before. Well, we divide them into speed groups, and that's also a way of marking the 80%, because not all teams, not all motorcycles drive the same equal speed. And if you're in the wrong speed group, you're either too fast and you get bored, or you are too slow and you get scared. So that's why we divide them into different speed groups. So everybody can drive as fast as they want. And it's the same with teams. Some teams want to develop faster and some teams want to develop slower. Some of our teams actually have the right to go really fast everywhere. Learning how to drive a motorcycle is all about transformation. So we adapted transformational leadership into all our coaches. It's one of the areas where we put a lot of effort. I've done that over the past years. How to teach the teachers, teach the coaches how to do this transformational. This is another 30 slides that I won't have time for today, unfortunately. But there is a lot of great talks about transformational leadership. So if you haven't looked into that yet, please do, because there is a lot of really cool stuff going on in that area. But to sum it up, to have a safe environment to do development, you actually need to have a safe environment to succeed and also to fail. Well, on the track we try not to fail because it hurts. It's also important that you have commonly agreed rules, so everybody knows what's going to happen. And of course, these rules change all the time. We don't change them during the day, but we might change them the next day because they didn't work. We need to have a common goal. On the track, we only have one goal, and that is seeing the checkered flag. Because seeing the checkered flag means everybody won. We're doing fast iterations, and that is not a pun. It's just we're doing it really fast. Small changes, really fast. Autonomy is really important also. Previously, we had this, well, on the first session you should do this, and the next session you should do that. We have left that a long time ago because, as I said, we don't know who is there. Constant communication is important. We communicate everywhere. We have the flags that signs that, hey, now you're going on a track, now it's a hazard, all these things. And we also do a lot of feedback. If you misbehave, you will notice, because we will give you the black flag and you're parked in the pits for a while. We also accept that everybody is participating on their level. Yeah, I'm not the fastest, but I might be faster than someone else, and I might know something that you don't know, and you will be able to teach me something. And most important, constant improvement. And that goes both for the participants, for the instructors, for the crew, even the ambulance personnel that are on track each day. And really important is to have the right support organization. I mean, if we don't know where we're going to get our lunch, or if we need to go away for lunch, or what happens if someone actually crashes, you get uncertain there, and then you have to start thinking about it. And you don't really want to think about lunch when you're on the track. So that's really important that you have the right support. And as I mentioned also, one important part is to have the transformational leadership. To understand that I'm not there as a coach or mentor because I like to drive motorcycles. Well, I do. But I'm there to teach someone else and help someone else get better each day. So the best days I have is when I get there and I have these huge smiles, when they take off the helmet at the end of the day and like, yeah, I'm coming back tomorrow, and then go home. That is my 15 minutes up of my 2-hour talk. Thanks.